Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to Creator Owned. So, Spider-Man Into Spider-Verse just got nominated for Best Animated Picture, and it unearthed this memory in my mind. So, I apologize for the clickbait title, but I promise that this isn't untrue. So, first and foremost, in 2011, I attended my first convention, which was C2E2 in Chicago. And Brian Michael Bendis was one of the people attending. Brian Michael Bendis is the creator of Miles Morales, who's the main character of Spider-Man Into Spider-Verse. And he's also a Cleveland native, so go Cleveland. When I got up, I was still pretty ignorant of how the comic book industry worked. And I didn't really know that if you wanted to make an original comic book and not just Spider-Man or Iron Man or something, you don't really do that at Marvel or DC because they deal with their own properties 99.9% of the time. So it's pretty rare that you just get to like make Watchmen and it's under DC. There are other imprints that exist for that, like Icon or Vertigo or Dark Horse. I got up and I had a question that I wanted to direct to Brian, just because, Ultimate Spider-Man was like what got me really interested in comic books. But I asked a question something along the lines of, how often do you get to, pursue your own original idea while working for Marvel or DC? And it just so happened that as I got up in the line to ask the question to this panel of A-list comic book authors, Brian Michael Bendis had to leave and just got up and walked out. And I was like, well, this question was directed for Brian, but I see he's on the way out, and just had to kind of push forward. And so I asked the question. Long story short, the answer was you don't make original comic book characters at Marvel. What are you talking about? And after some time learning more about the industry, I realized, that doesn't really happen very often. So that's why it's really cool that Miles Morales is the subject of Spider-Man Into Spider-Verse, because just a few months later, he was debuted after that convention, of all things. It's such a weird coincidence. Also, while we're on the topic, something interesting I just found is that part of the inspiration for Miles Morales was Donald Glover appearing in Spider-Man pajamas on an episode of Community, and it was in reference to him auditioning for the role of Peter Parker in the Amazing Spider-Man series. So what's cool about that is Bendis saw that and was inspired by that. And the interesting thing is that Donald Glover actually appears in Spider-Man Homecoming and references his cousin Miles. So it's interesting how that came full circle. It's very rare that an author under these imprints gets to make someone, because there's just a lot that goes into royalties and rights. At least it's a rare honor. Bendis has created a few notable characters, Jessica Jones, Maria Hill, and Miles Morales. And that's over a decades-long career that he's been able to make 6 unique characters for Marvel that weren't, instructed. So yeah, it's just some food for thought that I wanted to share with people, because I didn't know much about it early on. Recently, I remember seeing a post on Facebook that someone was trying to make a fan film that was a direction of where the Avengers could go in the near future. And they were hoping to show this to people at Marvel, oh, we had this great idea of where the Avengers might head. And I was like, you guys know that there's teams of people at Marvel. They have a creative director, they have a CEO. This stuff is decided upon way above the heads of the people making the movies and the actors. And the person was like, yeah, well, I'm just trying to be productive and get something done. I'm like, hey, that's great. And if that's your passion, go for it. But if you want to get somewhere, I would always recommend working on your own original idea, just because you have creative control over it, and no one's going to stop you. No one's going to send you a cease and desist. No one's going to say, hey, it's nice that you made this film, but those are our characters and you can't use, goodbye. This is our property now. So I just wanted to throw it out there. It was just an interesting memory that passed through my mind, and, good for Brian Michael Bendis and the people at Marvel for getting this Academy Award nomination and pushing forward with the character and doing new things. So if you have any ideas for content you'd like to see on the channel or anything like that, please let me know. We're going to come back with the live show soon. But yeah, I just had the time to do this video today. I want to throw it out there. Thanks for watching. Take care.